আসসালামু আলাইকুম and very good evening যুক্তরাজ্য সহ পৃথিবীর যেখানে বসে এনটিভি ইউরোপের রেগুলার প্রোগ্রাম কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্স দেখছেন আপনাদের সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা সহ স্বাগতম বরাবরের মতো আজকেও আপনাদের সাথে আছি আমি আদনান পাভেল। আপনারা যারা রেগুলারলি কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্স দেখেন আপনারা জানেন কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্স আপনাদের অনুষ্ঠান, আপনাদের নিয়ে অনুষ্ঠান। আমরা সবসময় চেষ্টা করি এই অনুষ্ঠানের মাধ্যমে এমন সব বিষয়বস্তুতে কথা বলতে যা কিনা ব্রিটিশ বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটি বা বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটির উপর প্রভাব ফেলছে বা অদূর ভবিষ্যতে প্রভাব ফেলতে পারে। আজও তার ব্যতিক্রম নয়। আজকে আমরা কথা বলবো বিএমই উমেন এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট এই টপিকের উপর। আমাদের মেয়েরা কেমন করছে ইউনিভার্সিটিতে, তাদের জন্য এনাফ অপরচুনিটি আছে কি না, ইউনিভার্সিটি পাস করার পরে তাদের জব অপরচুনিটি কি, ফ্যামিলির কি রোল প্লে করা উচিত, বোথ ইন লজ অ্যান্ড প্যারেন্টাল। তারপর হচ্ছে আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে যারা সাকসেসফুল ইন বিজনেস, ইন পলিটিক্স, ইন পাবলিক সেক্টর, ওনারা কি আরও যারা আছে তাদের জন্য মেন্টরিং স্কিম বা আরও কীভাবে আরও অপরচুনিটি ক্রিয়েট করা যায় তার উপর কাজ করছে কিনা তা নিয়ে আমরা আজকে কথা বলবো। সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আপনাদের যদি কোনো মতামত থাকে, আপনাদের যদি কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকে, স্ক্রিনে নিচে যে ফোন নাম্বার আছে তাতে আপনারা ফোন করতে পারবেন, বা এই অনুষ্ঠান সম্পর্কে আপনাদের যদি কোনো অভিমত থাকে আমাদেরকে লিখতে পারবেন communitymatters@europntv.com এই ইমেল অ্যাড্রেসে। তা আমি আর কথা না বাড়িয়ে আমি পরিচয় করিয়ে দেব আমার আজকের তিনজন অতিথির সাথে। আমার হাতের সর্বডানে উপস্থিত আছেন Meghna Minarauddin. She is a broadcaster and community activist. Thank you so much for joining us today. তারপর উপস্থিত আছেন Rini Lasker. She's a banker. Rini, thank you so very much for joining us today. আমার হাতের বাম পাশে উপস্থিত আছেন Tara Hussain. Tara is a postgrad student at University SOAS. And she's very much involved with politics as well. Tara, thank you so very much for joining us today. So today we'll talk about BME women empowerment, whether there are enough opportunities for our girls at university, at workplace, what role family should play, from community, whether there should be a collective force to help our girls to be successful. And our viewers, I myself and our viewers will listen to your experience and your suggestion as well. So if I may start with you, Rini Lasker, you are a very successful banker. Would you be able to tell us what sort of challenges you faced when you joined as a banker? What sort of challenges you faced? Coming from ethnic minority, British Bangladeshi, what sort of challenges you faced?
So I think some of the challenges that we face are internal to ourselves.
Right.
So it's about why you think you can do things in the workplace. I achieved what I've achieved because I've had good mentors in my life. I've had support from my family. They pushed me from a very young, early age. There was always an expectation that, as soon as you finish school, you'd go to university, and then, you'd get married, you settled down. But you'd also go out and work. So that was always the self-belief that I've had.
Right.
If I didn't have that, then I don't think I would be where I am today.
So your family, you said, you mentioned about family.
Family is key, having
Right.
good role models that you can look up to, seeing other people, successful people within your community, your relatives, who you can look up to, people who you can aspire to, and knowing that it's not just aspirational, but it is achievable.
Absolutely. But do you think once you joined, banking sector, do you think there was enough opportunities for you, or it was difficult, coming from that sort of ethnic background? Was it difficult for you, or there was enough opportunity?
There are limitations. There
Right.
are challenges. I think one of the biggest challenges, and this is what I've heard from a senior person I've worked with before, he said at the graduate level they pretty much recruit 50-50 men
Right.
and women. The balance is broadly an equal ratio. But by the time you reach the senior management level, the ratio completely declines. So there are not enough women, there's
Right.
not enough BAMEs. And if we look at it from that perspective of a woman, it's probably because the older they get married, they settle down, they have children.
Right.
And
They spend more time with family.
Yes.
They have other priorities
yes,
as well.
their priorities change in life. So
Right.
then they think, no, I don't want to become a partner in this firm, or I don't want to become a managing director in financial services. They think, I would rather spend more time with my family. And this is where organisations have to help support not just, you know, the fact that you're diverse, you're from a different ethnic background, but if you want to get more women out there, they have to support the fact that women do have children,
Right.
and their priorities change.
Absolutely, and particularly coming from you know, British Bangladeshi community,
Yes.
and at the time when you joined banking sector, I'm sure there was not enough people to look into. I mean, can you tell us your experience during that time?
Yes, so when I first joined, and actually my career started in oil and gas as management
Right.
consultant, there were not many brown people in the office at all. My boss, you know, he said to me that I was the first ever Bangladeshi and Muslim person, you know, he'd ever spoken to in his
Right.
life. It was a very kind of all-white environment.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to have worked for this company on and off for about 10 or 11 years. Going back to that company after a decade, there's been some real change.
Right.
There's been, you just look around the office and there's a lot more brown faces, there's a lot more
Things are changing.
women. Yeah, it is improving,
Right.
but not enough, because what I'm seeing that organisations are recruiting more,
Right.
but more at the junior levels
Right.
rather than the senior,
Senior levels.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so very much for sharing your experience with us. We'll you know, we'll listen more from you. Magna Minarauddin, you know, you are a broadcaster, you are a community activist, you are very much involved with the community. From your experience, what sort of challenges our girls face once they, you know, once they go to universities, or if they want to get a good job? What sort of challenges they face from family, particularly? You know, Rini, she been very lucky that she had that sort of support from her family. But you know, coming from that sort of conservative background, sometimes there are so many stereotypes within the family. Even, you know, you're not very supported by your family. If a girl wants to progress, want to go to city, do a good job, what sort of challenges that girl face if there is no support from family?
If there's no support from, exactly, Rini, well, you've been very lucky. Some young women who start from secondary school education, and then they want to aspire to be, to go on to maybe corporate level jobs, or maybe even other professions as, you know, law or medicine. It does prove tough, because at a certain age, by a certain age, I think what parents and families think is, well, they've had their good education, now it's time probably to settle down.
Right.
And I've worked with young people for a very long time, for the past 8-9 years, on grassroots level as well. And what I find, it's embedded at home as well. They get to a certain age, or they'll go through college, and then it's time for, automatically their brain, well, I'll probably get married or something. But not saying that, there are some families who are very supportive, want their girls, and you know, to achieve to the higher level,
Right.
where they go into professional jobs, where they go into corporate level jobs as directors, or you know, from the junior level way up to senior level, as well as being in other professional jobs as well.
So, but do you think that that particular that mindset in, you know, that used to exist in our society, our particularly British Bangladeshi society, that okay, you can go to university, but then after certain age, your priority should be settling down, not going to you know, get a good job? Do you think that sort of mindset is changing nowadays?
Well, I think it is changing.
Right.
I have to say it is changing. It wouldn't be fair saying that everybody is the same. Everybody's on, you know, they just want their daughters to achieve a good education, and that's about it. No, they do want their daughters to go on to be, you know, good role models as well,
Absolutely.
and for other families, other siblings in the family. So it's that support network where they have from their university levels as well. And if they go out to, they need to look for that. They need to look for, if they are saying that, there is another thing, that if there is no support at home, you need to look for support, whether it's in your college life or your university life, or other support networks. There is a lot of things out
Right.
there, more than there was about 15, 20 years ago, I would say. There's a lot more now for young people than there was back then. So yes, you need to look for those support networks in your universities and in your colleges that you're at.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know, both of you mentioned about the support that you should have from your family. Even if you get married, you should have that sort of support from your in-laws as well. Do you think in our community, our society, you know, that sort of support that's been provided to our girls? That even if you get married, if you want to get a good job, you can, obviously that sort of mentality that has been inspired by in-laws as well. Do you think that sort of things are changing, or what do you think? What's your experience?
From my own experience, I would say not everybody.
Right.
Unfortunately, not everybody. I think if their family, you've had your education, now you need to settle down, now you need to have a family.
Right.
You need to think about your family, your husband's family, and everything, how you need to nurture them.
I mean, why they cannot have family and then a good job? I mean,
you're absolutely right. Why can't they? They can. It's all about balance at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Maybe before they start a family, they might want to achieve to a certain level, and then afterwards they might have a plan. Everybody has their own plans in life to what they want to achieve in 3 years, in 5 years, or in 10 years.
Absolutely.
So yes, and in-laws, if you're already married and you're living with in-laws, or even your husband, your partner, should be supportive.
Right. But do you think there are enough supports?
Maybe not as much as we would like with our minority. Maybe with the British Bangladeshis, maybe not as much.
Right.
But saying that there are some families where the whole family...
But this is holding the community back, isn't it?
Yes. From developing, from going further, from progressing, progressing further. But saying that there are some families who actually... the parents, the parent-in-laws, they're all educated. They're all in some form of professional jobs.
Right.
So automatically that encourage they value their education. They value the progress that an individual can make to the next level, and they will give that support in that way.
So things are changing,
that is
but
a
it should be more.
It should be more.
Right.
I think it should be more progressive.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so very much. Tara, you are a postgrad student at SOAS University. Do share your experience, that what sort of challenge you faced once you started your undergrad, then going to do your postgrad. What sort of challenges you faced? You were supported enough by your family and friends or community?
Well, I think I was supported up till my undergraduate.
Right.
And I feel once you finish the undergraduate, as a young woman, Asian woman in her 20s, there's an expectation to get married.
Right.
So you'll hear...
Do you think this is particularly some sort of mindset in our community?
So. Yes, I do think so.
Right.
You'll hear family members going, in a few years' time, by the age of 25, you should be married, and by the age of 30, you'll have a few kids, which is highly unrealistic. But especially if you're a young individual who has big ambitions and you want the top level jobs and in law, business, politics. I still don't think, sadly, that family does support
enough.
Yes, enough.
Right. But we hear a lot of, about social mobility, government support, because government thinks that if one particular community is lacking behind, that is the failure for entire country. Do you think there is enough support from the government to cross that sort of barrier?
At the moment, no. I think there is a systemic issue.
Right.
Women who decide to get married and have children aren't supported enough, and therefore you almost have to choose between getting married or having a full-time career.
Right.
That shouldn't be the case. I mean, in a flourishing society, you should be able to have both if you choose to.
Right.
And on the other side, you have parents who just want you to get married. And
right. I mean, so what government can do? I mean, when you say that there is not enough support, I mean, what sort of support are you looking for? Being a young girl.
I would like them to encourage shared parental care, extended maternity leave. So just helping, and also helping women who choose to have children.
Government's policies.
Yes, reintegrate back into work quicker and easily.
Right.
At the moment, I don't think it's a quick enough process, and it's quite difficult for mothers to actually go back into work after they've had children. Right.
But even if you complete your university degree, do you think it is it is easy for you to get a job coming from that sort of ethnic minor background?
No, I don't. I think Rini made a very good point. It's easy to get the junior roles, but once it gets to if you look at the FTSE 100, all the top CEOs are men and lacking.
Thank you very much. We'll listen more from you. সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আজকে কমিউনিটি ম্যাটারসে আমরা কথা বলছি BAME উইমেন এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট। আমরা আপনাদের সাথে আরো কথা বলবো। আমরা যাব একটা বিরতিতে।